My approach to scriptures is from an analytical perspective. I focus on the key themes that seem to get the Most High the most angry. In the Torah, the initial 5 books, the Most High reestablishes the law to Israel. The remaining part of the text illustrates the punishments for breaking those commandments and the reasons behind the punishment. In other words, what are the big things that anger the Most High? Our goal as Israelites should be to do what pleases Him. From the 1611 King James Version, Baruch chapter 4 verse 1. This is the book of the commandment of Elohim and the law that endures forever. All that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. The first 5 books aren't just good reads or ear candy. They lay down the foundational rules. But remember, it's the complete 1611 King James Version that truly constitutes the law. The 613 laws are detailed and specific, yet a couple of factors particularly provoke a strong reaction from the Most High. Worshipping other deities and violating the Sabbath day are 2 of these triggers. The third factor that invokes a strong response is often overlooked or intentionally disregarded by many. Deuteronomy chapter 23 verse 6. Thou shalt not seek their peace nor their prosperity all thy days forever. This instruction is in the context of Israelite relations with the Ammonites and Moabites. These 2 nations did not help Israel when they were journeying from Egypt to the Promised Land. In fact, the Moabites even hired a prophet named Balaam to curse Israel, although he ended up blessing them instead. The commandment therefore is aimed at defining Israel's relationship with surrounding nations. In this case, Israelites are instructed not to seek the peace or the prosperity with the Ammonites or Moabites, essentially meaning they should not form alliances or treaties with them or working for them. The original intention for Israel was to be self-sufficient, engaging in their own trade, buying and selling internally. Does this law apply exclusively to the Ammonites, or does it also include other non-Israelite races or nationalities? To find this out, let's go to Genesis 14:21. And the king of Sodom said unto Abram, Give me the persons, and take the goods to thyself. And Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up my hand unto the Most High Elohim, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take from a thread, even to a shoe latchet, that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldst say, I have made Abraham rich. In Genesis 14:21-23, after rescuing his nephew Lot and recovering the stolen goods and the people from a battle, Abram, later called Abraham, is offered money by the king of Sodom. Abram declined, stating that he has an oath to Elohim not to take anything. He wants to ensure that only Elohim gets credit for his prosperity, not earthly kings. The episode illustrates Abraham's integrity, his deep commitment to Elohim, his desire for Elohim to be recognized as the source of his blessing. When you combine that with the commandments of Deuteronomy and the commandments given to Abram, we should start to realize how important it is for Israel to be independent. Ezra chapter 9 verse 12. Now therefore give not your daughters unto their sons, neither take their daughters unto your sons, nor seek their peace or their wealth forever, that you may be strong and eat the good of the land, and leave it for inheritance for your children forever. The verse from Ezra 9:12 appears in the context of the return of the Israelites from Babylon exile. They are returning to Jerusalem to rebuild the temple and reestablish the society under the Mosaic law. Upon arrival, Ezra, a priest and scribe, learns that the people had not been strictly adhering to the law. They had been intermarrying with the surrounding people, such as the Canaanites, Hittites, Perizzites, Jebusites, Ammonites, Moabites, Egyptians, and Amorites. In this particular case, Ezra is quoting the commandment that the Israelites should not intermarry with the people around them. The verse also mentions not seeking their peace or their wealth, which suggests avoiding political alliances or treaties that could compromise Israel's commitment to their own laws and traditions. The text argues that by following this commandment, the Israelites will be strong and eat the good of the land and leave it for inheritance to their children forever. In other words, the obedience to Elohim's commandments is tied to the well-being and the prosperity of the community. While we're currently in exile, the obligation to uphold the commandments remains. Most Israelites I know emphasize outward appearances like growing their beard or wearing particular garments and specific feast days, even though many of these customs have been temporarily put on hold. yet they hesitate to engage in the actions that would please the Most High, like collaborating for a collective sense of independence. These individuals often use captivity as an excuse, which really just conceals their deeper resentment toward their own brethren. This resentment hinders unity and cooperation. But the question comes up, should Israel strive to become a complete, unified entity? The truth of the matter is that will not be possible, and that will not happen until Yeshua's return. Nonetheless, forming smaller groups is not only allowed, but it is expected. To be honest, our ongoing struggles often stem from our inability to cooperate. It is not the devil causing the issue, but rather our reluctance to cooperate, even with the smaller circles. Nehemiah chapter 5 verse 1, "And there was a great cry of the people and of the wives against their brethren the Jews. For there were that said, We, our sons and our daughters are many, therefore we take up corn for them, that we may eat and live. Some also there were that said, We have mortgaged our lands, vineyards, and houses, that we may buy corn, because of the dearth. And there were also that said, We have borrowed money from the king's tribute, and that upon our lands and vineyards. Yet now our flesh is as the flesh of our brethren, and our children as their children. And lo, we bring into bondage our sons and daughters to be servants, and some of our daughters are brought unto bondage already. Neither is it in our power to redeem them, for other men have our lands and vineyards." In this book, Nehemiah chapter 5, Nehemiah confronts a social and economic issue among the Israelites who are rebuilding Jerusalem. The Israelites are facing famine and financial hardship, leading some to mortgage their lands and vineyards and even sell their children into slavery to secure food and to pay off the debt. The wealthy among them are taking advantage of the situation by lending money with interest and enslaving their impoverished brethren. Nehemiah chapter 5 verse 8, "And I said unto them, We after our ability have redeemed our brethren the Jews, which were sold unto the heathen. And will you even sell your brethren, or shall they be sold unto us? Then held they their peace, and found nothing to answer. I also said, It is not good that ye do. Ought ye not to walk in the fear of Elohim, because of the reproach of the heathen our enemies?" Nehemiah explains that he only rescued those he was able to, which means not every Israelite. He managed to assist a select number of his fellow Israelites, and it was the responsibility of each group to do the same thing, saving those within their capacity. The driving force behind this effort is reverence for the Most High. By aiding your brethren and ensuring their liberation from captivity, you can prevent the incurring wrath of the Most High. As I read the scriptures, I do not perceive the Most High's anger directed towards Israelites over beards or towards women wearing men's clothes. Instead, the scriptures portray the Most High's frustration with Israel for their lack of collaboration and instances of mistreating their fellow Israelites. To this point, I find no substantial discussion on these matters on YouTube or on any other social media. Acts chapter 2 verse 44. "And also that believed were together and had all things common, and sold their possession and goods, and parted them to all men, as every man had need." The focus in this community in Acts chapter 2 verse 44 to 45, the focus is on the Israelites community in Jerusalem following the events of Pentecost, where the Holy Spirit descended upon the apostles and the followers of Yeshua. These verses describe the sense of unity, shared purpose, and communal care that characterized the Israelite community. The phrase "had all things common" signifies that they viewed their possession and resources as shared assets to be used for the benefit of the entire community. This was not just a group of individuals who believed the same things. They were actively living out their faith in a communal setting. Right after the Spirit descends, the apostles are forming communities. The term communal refers to something that is shared by a community or a group of people. In a communal living arrangement, resources such as food, space, or money might be shared. Decisions are often made collectively, and the well-being of the community might take precedence over individual interests. Communal practices aim to foster a sense of unity, collaboration, and shared responsibility among the members of the group. Yet individuals who profess to be filled with the Spirit, who claim to receive guidance from the Most High, have not done what the apostles or Nehemiah did. Instead, they do exactly what Melchizedek warned Abraham not to do. Their lives are consumed by the pursuit of peace and the prosperity from non-Israelites. They refuse to work with their brothers and sisters to separate themselves from the people of the land. Ezra chapter 9:14. Should we break thy commandments and join in an affinity with the people of these abominations? Would not thou be angry with us until thou had consumed us, so that there should be no remnant nor escaping? O Most High, Elohim of Israel, thou art righteous, for we remain yet escaped as it is this day. Behold, we are before thee in our trespasses, but we cannot stand before thee because of this. The main reason we continue to suffer is not because we have not celebrated the feast days hard enough. It is not because our beards are not long enough. The main reason why we suffer is because we have not separated ourselves. I'm not here to dictate your actions. My purpose is to assist sincere followers in averting the wrath of the Most High and to do those things that are pleasing in His sight. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.